Today's Mercedes-Benz interview of the day brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Dream Days. Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are here. Exceptional offers. The GLE Coupe, E-Class Sedan, C-Class Sedan, CLE Cabriolet. Right now through September 3rd. Learn more at mbusa.com/dream. He's the head coach of the Texas Longhorns, Steve Sarkisian, back on the program. Do you feel like you're in the SEC now, or is there still part of that Big 12 hangover?
Well, I think once you go to league meetings in the spring down there in Destin, you definitely feel like you're part of the conference. The SEC does everything big, and then naturally with the media days and doing media days in Dallas, you could feel the energy, the excitement, and so. But we'll find out more when the season comes around. We got to start playing these games week after week.
Take me back to when you took the job. Did you know at the time Texas was going into the SEC?
I did not. I took this job under the impression of we would be in the Big 12. I took the job because it was the University of Texas, right? And the history and tradition, the great players, coaches, teams that we've had here, and what an unbelievable university in the city of Austin, all those great things. And then after I'd been on the job for a little while, then I got notified of the potential, and then naturally it all came to fruition. So, I think it's a great opportunity for us and us continuing to build this program and the state of college football where it's headed. And so much has been made, I think, of conference realignment about, people losing rivalries and some of the history of college football. We're actually gaining two back, for the opportunity for us to play A&M again, the opportunity for us to play Arkansas again, and some of those great games with Coach Broyles and Darrell K. Royal and just what that rivalry meant over the years. For us, we're kind of gaining some rivalries back as well as going into, in my opinion, the best conference in the country.
Which SEC stadiums have you never coached or played in?
Wow. I've never been to the Swamp. I've never been, coached in. I've been there. I've never coached there. I've never coached at Georgia. Wow. I think just about everywhere else I've been. Obviously, been in Bryant-Denny, been to LSU, I've been to College Station. So, been to a lot of those stadiums. They're great environments. The fanfare. I think that's what makes this conference so great, right? I mean, there's elite coaching. There's elite players. There's a reason the SEC has more NFL draft picks than any other conference every year. But the fan engagement in the way that they commit to their teams and the love they have for their programs, in my opinion, is second to none.
But this is a soap opera. This is like reality TV. When you're in the SEC, it's just different than any other place. And I don't even know how you prepare for something like that, aside from getting your team ready. But really, it's its own soap opera.
Well, I think the challenge is, having been in that league, 3 different years with Bama in 2016 and then in 2019 and 2020, that we all are aware, everybody's aware of the physical challenge that it takes, the physicality of the SEC and things of that nature. To me, it's the mental intensity that you have to have week in and week out to get prepared. And I think that's going to be probably one of our challenges that I have to help navigate our team through and manage through. That's my job to do that, because week in and week out, when you go on the road, the environments are the environments. Even our home games, the SEC fans travel really well, and they're going to want to travel to Austin. It's going to be a new place for them to come play in. So we've got to do a great job from a mental intensity standpoint of making sure that we're dialed in, not just on Saturday on game day, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
We're talking to Steve Sarkisian, Texas head coach. Who scheduled at Michigan for week 2? How long has that been scheduled?
That game was scheduled before I got here. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Clearly, you haven't looked at our future schedule either, because the next year we go to Ohio State. So we'll go 3 straight years at Alabama, non-conference, at Michigan, at Ohio State. But that's, for me, I think it's actually a really good thing, especially now more than ever with the expanded playoff. The fact that we get to go play these early non-conference games, get a little bit of a barometer of where we're at as a program. But I think the beauty of it is that those games early in the year really aren't going to define your season. You still have to go play well in your conference. If you don't win, you still can maybe afford a loss or two, or maybe even three, and get into that playoff. Gives it a little bit more of that NFL feel that way, to where you can really test your team early in the season, see where you're at, where do you need to improve to get ready for conference play.
How do you think Nick Saban's going to do as a member of the media?
I think he's going to do great, man. I've seen him a few times, and I saw him obviously at SEC Media Days. I watched him covering the NFL draft. He's so knowledgeable, right? And he's got so much more personality than people probably give him credit for. But his insight is really incredible, and I could sit there and listen to him all day. And so I think he's going to do great. I think fans are really going to gravitate to wanting to hear him speak on games and strategy and different things that come up with the ball games.
You had Roger Clemens in the building?
We had the Rocket in, man. It was awesome. Great story behind this. So 2 years ago we were playing Bama at home, and the who's who were on the sidelines, right? Like you'd imagine. I mean, there's Vince Young, there's Kevin Durant. And second quarter, I looked down and I said, "Holy crap, that's Roger Clemens." And I grew up a huge Red Sox fan when I was a kid. So it's a TV timeout. So I go down there. I said, "Hey, Roger, it's great to meet you. I love having you here." I said, "I'm a huge fan." And so that next week, I get a package, and he sends me a jersey, and it says, Rocket Roger Clemens, 7-time Cy Young, 2-time World Series. And then he puts in quotes, "tough all day." And I said, what a great saying. And so we've actually adopted what was his mantra, was "tough all day." And so we had him come speak to the team last Friday, and it was awesome, and to put it into perspective, we got a lot of young players that never saw Roger Clemens pitch. But when you think about, 4,600 strikeouts, 20 strikeouts in a game twice, seven Cy Youngs. I mean, those are incredible numbers. And so, and then you realize he's 62 years old, and he looks like he's about 45. Looks like he can still get on the mound and throw about 98.
Okay, but you're facing Alabama, and it's a TV timeout, and you have to go say hello to Roger Clemens.
Oh yeah. But that's but that's kind of who I am. I appreciate that. One thing about me, Dan, you probably know this. I love college football. I love the pageantry of college football, and all that comes into it in those big games. I think part of that even was with my time at SC with Pete Carroll. And you look down the sidelines, and there's Snoop Dogg, or there's Will Ferrell, or there's Marcus Allen, whoever it was. And just watching him engage with them, I think it almost gave us a sense of confidence. Like, coach is in a great frame of mind. We should stay in a great frame of mind. He's loose. He's confident. And so I kind of evolved into that myself. And so I do try to touch base with the people on our sidelines, whether it's in pregame or sometimes during a TV timeout, just to kind of give them a high five or a fist bump, and let them know I appreciate them being there.
Do your players know you played quarterback?
I think they do. I think nowadays with YouTube, and I think they like pulling up all my bad plays, but they do know. Unfortunately, I can't throw like I used to, but I think they're aware.
How do you keep Arch Manning happy, content, positive?
Yeah, the one thing with Arch that has been, and I think I really credit his family, his mom and his dad, his grandpa, obviously his uncles. I think they understand the process. And so many times, we're in this world now of instant gratification, right? Whether it's social media or the 5-star recruit comes in and starts right away. But if you really look back at the history of Eli and Peyton, they didn't start their freshman year. It took time as they developed, because I think the one thing that the Mannings understand is when it's your time to play, that they want to play really well, right? They don't want to be learning on the job. And so we've got a pretty good history and tradition of developing quarterbacks over the last 20 or so years, going all the way back to Carson Palmer and all the guys that we've coached. And I think we've seen an immense amount of development in Arch. We feel very comfortable if and or when he gets in the game, he's going to play good football for us. But I also think they understand the process of developing himself to be a championship caliber quarterback in the SEC and on the national stage, but also preparing and putting himself in the best position for the National Football League.
Who's the best quarterback you've ever been around?
Oh man, don't do that to me. I've been around some really, really good ones. I mean, and I can rattle them off from obviously, from what, Carson was, Matt Castle was a backup with us that whole time and gets drafted in the NFL. To John David Booty, to Mark Sanchez. We had Jake Locker for a couple years at Washington. To even when I got into the NFL, Matt Ryan had a couple great years with us. To Tua, to Mac Jones, and now we've got Quinn, and they've all different. Everybody's got a different skill set, strengths and weaknesses, and trying to train them the way we think they need to be trained, but also play to their strengths to do the things that they do well. So
How about the best quarterback you've coached against?
Ooh, man, that's another tough one. That's tough. In college football,
Yeah.
one of the better games I've seen played, and at least one of the better drives I coached against was in 2016. I called the national championship game, but one game. Coach Saban had me call it, and it was Bama against Clemson. And that final drive by Deshaun Watson to go win the national title was a pretty tremendous drive. But I'm going to say the best one ever was Vince Young.
Oh.
And in the national championship game, we said in our locker room the guy was Superman that night. And what he did for Texas in that game, and ultimately that final drive, 4th and 5, 26 seconds to go make that play on that stage. He beat us, and I know their team was really good, but it really just felt like Vince Young beat us that night.
Do you have a full suit, like a burnt orange suit, like pants, jacket, tie?
I don't have that yet. I'm going to go with yet. I definitely will sometimes step outside the box with some of the suits that I wear. And a
Okay.
full burnt orange suit sounds like it's something that I'm supposed to be wearing. So maybe this year I'll get something like that done.
You get white belt, white shoes, but
I
I
like
would
that.
wait until like after the Georgia game, maybe after a win. Then maybe you
Put
could
it
do
on
that.
after the game. Put on after the game,
Yeah, yeah.
or for the next week.
Maybe the next week. Who do you play after Georgia? You got to play a
I,
cupcake after Georgia,
I don't.
right?
I have no
Hold
idea.
on, hold on. Let me
So,
see. All right, you got Oklahoma, and then next week, the following week, you have Georgia. You're at Vandy. You
well, I don't
should
know
be
if the
able to.
orange. I don't know if the orange suit in Nashville is.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
But
I should
that
be wearing an orange suit at home for a home game.
okay. How about Florida?
Maybe, maybe we'll look into that.
Yeah, that'll
I
be
got to
at
find
home.
somebody to make that. I don't think you can just go down to your local mall and pick up a burnt orange suit. So probably gonna
Hey,
take a
if
minute to
if
find
you
somebody
beat
that can make it.
Georgia, you'll have people waiting in line to make you a orange jumpsuit there. Well, good luck. And I know how many times have you said to your team, "Hey, we got Colorado State. Let's not be thinking about Michigan," because you open up with
Well,
Colorado State.
here's the thing I've been doing. I've been reminding them of that game by practicing at 2:30 in the afternoon. That game is August 31st at 2:30 in the afternoon, so it'll be about 100 and so degrees temperature. It'll be probably about 100 and I don't know 30 or 40 on our turf. So putting them in the sun reminds them every day of that we play August 31st against Colorado State.
Good to talk to you again, Coach. We'll hopefully catch up with you during the season. Good luck.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, buddy. Hook 'em.
Yeah, that's Steve Sarkisian.